Welcome to Buzz Around the Globe. The bodies of 6 foreign aid workers killed in a Gaza strike were transported out of the war-torn Palestinian territory as Israel faced a chorus of outrage over their deaths. But all that Benjamín Netanyahu had to say for it was unintentional, but this happens in war. Israel's non-apology didn't sit well with many. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said he had voiced his anger and concern in a phone call with Netanyahu, while Britain summoned the Israeli ambassador and demanded full accountability. Polish Prime Minister wrote on X to Netanyahu and Israel's ambassador saying the deaths were straining ties and that the tragic attack against volunteers and your reaction are generating an understandable anger. Israeli bombardment killed 7 staff of the US-based food charity World Central Kitchen on Monday in an attack that has shocked the world. The remains of the 6 international staff who were killed alongside one Palestinian colleague were taken out of Gaza through the Rafah crossing with Egypt. The 7 deaths piled more pressure on Israel, whose war since the Hamas attack of October 7th has brought devastation and mass civilian casualties to Gaza, where the UN warns the population of 2.4 million is on the brink of a famine. US President Joe Biden said he was outraged and heartbroken by the deaths and charged that Israel has not done enough to protect aid workers trying to deliver desperately needed help to civilians. But it is not about who is heartbroken or who is deeply saddened by this tragedy. It is about asking the hard questions, like, is Israel intentionally targeting food and aid supply? The aid agencies definitely feel so. World Central Kitchen has demanded an independent investigation into the Israeli strikes that killed its staff. Its founder, Jose Andre, has clearly stated that it was a targeted strike. In a statement issued on Thursday, the international food charity says it has asked Australia, Canada, Poland, and the United States, and also the United Kingdom, whose citizens were killed, to join them in demanding an independent third-party investigation into these attacks. The charity said, "We asked the Israeli government to immediately preserve all documents, communications, video and audio recordings, and any other material potentially relevant to the April 1st strikes." After their deaths, the charity suspended operations and a ship that had carried food aid from Cyprus to Gaza turned back towards the Mediterranean island with around 240 tons of supplies that had not been unloaded. Israel's war in Gaza has killed nearly 33,000 Palestinians, the territory's health ministry says. The ministry doesn't differentiate between civilians and combatants in its tally, but says women and children make up 2/3 of the dead. The United Nations says much of the population in northern Gaza is on the brink of starvation. The United Nations Children's Agency says 1/3 of the children under age 2 in northern Gaza were suffering from acute malnutrition in March, adding that the figure has more than doubled in the last 2 months. It's not just the international pressure, but also the pressure from within the country that makes one wonder if Netanyahu's days are limited. The families of those taken hostages on 7th October have staged 4 straight nights of mass protests, joined by a resurgent anti-government movement. Thousands gathered in front of Parliament on Tuesday, with the former Prime Minister blaming Netanyahu for the October 7 disasters and demanding new elections. Many went inside the Knesset as well, with yellow paint on their hands. Netanyahu is teetering on the brink of a disaster after upsetting allies with his own and his military's callous attitude, and after failing to live up to his own people's expectations. Do tell us what you think about this video in the comment section, and for more news updates, subscribe to India Today.